Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to start off this new year with my wishlist video. And if you've watched any of my past wishlist videos, you'll know that I also like to do a review of my previous year's wishlist, tell you what I got, what I didn't get, what I still want to get. I think it's really fun to look back at the previous year's wishlist, but I also think that it serves to promote mindful spending. So as always, there's a check next to the items that I bought, an X on the items that I chose to not get, but also to just take off my wish list completely. And the items without either means that they are going forward into this year's wish list in some form. Okay, let's go to number 1, which is the Van Cleef 5 motif Alhambra bracelet. So in my original wish list, I had this in the mother of pearl. I ultimately got it in the guilloche, which was not on my radar at all until I went into the boutique and fell in love with this. I thought about eventually also getting the mother of pearl, but I'm pretty satisfied with this one and I don't feel the need right now to add another. Maybe that will change in time. The next item that I got is number 2, the Hermes paperweight. I got it in the natural mahogany finish. I've had this item on my wish list for years and it always got pushed to the side for something else. I finally got it this year. I use it as a statue on an end table in my living room and I really love it. Number 4 is the Cartier amulet necklace. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know the saga that I had with this necklace. I really wanted a malachite necklace. I decided to get this because it's being discontinued. I bought it. I requested for it to be extended. 3 months later, still no extension. I was not happy about that. The saving grace was that my boutique allowed me to just return it. However, it kind of worked out to my advantage because I was able to return it and put that money towards number 7, which is the Cartier Clash. I managed to get it right before the price increase. If you guys are interested, at some point I'm going to do a video on luxury fine jewelry, but spoiler alert, this bracelet is a sleeper hit. My goal for Hermes was to really try out Hermes bags in size 25, either 2 Kelly 25s or 1 Kelly and 1 Birkin, and I scored big time. I was able to get number 3, a Kelly 25 retourné black togo leather with gold hardware. This is the exact picture that I used in my wishlist video last year. And number 5, a Birkin 25 in the color etoupe in togo leather with gold hardware. I have dedicated unboxings for both of these so you can hear all about how I managed to get both these bags last year. And the other 3 items, you'll hear more about them because they have been carried over to my 2022 wish list. I also got some wildcard items this year, meaning that they were not on my wish list, but I saw them, fell in love, and I got them last year. So just to remind you, I finally got 2 twillies for my gold Birkin. I also got an Hermes Sellier tray. I got the Cartier Justin Clou single earrings, and I made a whole video on my experience at the Hermes sample sale where I got some great items, 2 hats, 2 pairs of shoes, and a shawl, and a couple of those items I had planned to buy this year. So now that I've recovered from the experience of waiting for 6 hours, I'm really glad that I did it because it greatly reduces the number of things that I plan to get this year from Hermes. So that's all of the items that I had on my 2021 wish list, as well as some wildcard items. So let's move on to my current wish list. And as a reminder, just like all of my wish list videos in the past, it's much more of a lifetime wish list than it is my wish list for this year. So you'll notice that there are items on this wish list that I had on wish list from 3+ years ago that I still haven't gotten, but I still want. So let's start with a brand that I haven't bought anything from in such a long time, and that's Louis Vuitton. So as much as it pains me, I want to repurchase a couple of items that I've had in the past. The first is the key pouch, which I had and I lost. It was a very traumatic experience because it had my license, my credit cards, all of which had to be replaced. After losing this, I went back to Louis Vuitton to try to rebuy one and I had no luck. Every time I went, they were out of stock. I'm pretty sure the price has gone up since I first bought this many years ago. I've tried to find alternatives for it. I'm currently using a leather Henry Bendel that I've used so much that I've torn the leather. I've just come to the conclusion that in terms of small leather goods, even with deteriorating quality, no one really does it like Louis Vuitton. So if I can find find this item this year, I'm just going to bite the bullet and replace the one that I lost. Similarly, the next item on my list is the Toiletry 26, which I had and I sold. I do not regret selling it because I was using this as a catch-all in my Neverfull. I had it stuffed every single day with papers and random things. That's not the way that this toiletry was intended to be used, and as a result, the canvas cracked. However, this was also a pouch that I used when I traveled to carry things that were very tall. So I decided that I want this back, but I'll never use it again as a catch-all. I will purely use it for its intended purpose as a toiletry pouch. But again, this is not the easiest to find. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but just like Chanel, I only buy Louis Vuitton at Saks so that I can use my Saks rewards. So it's kind of a long shot, these two items, because I'll only buy them if I can find them at Saks. And my last Louis Vuitton item is a mini trunk. So specifically the Coffret Tresor in either the size 20, 24, or both. I've gone to Louis Vuitton, I've looked at the size 20, but I also like how the 20 and the 24 looked stacked together. These are purely decorative. If you guys have watched my channel before, you'd know that I'm very much into the home lifestyle decorative luxury pieces, and I feel like this is the ultimate version of that. I thought about getting one of those large vintage trunks since it would be essentially the same price as these mini trunks, but I just don't think one of those would look particularly good in my New York City apartment. Whereas these mini trunks, I know exactly where I would put them, how I would style them. So one or both of these are definitely on my wish list for this year. So speaking of luxury home lifestyle items, I've been wanting these Tiffany espresso cups for years. Before I knew these existed, I bought the larger cups to use as rinse cups in my bathrooms. They were entirely too big, so I use those now for water on my nightstand. But I think these would be the perfect size for the bathroom. Let's move on to fine jewelry. I'm really proud of myself. At the start of 2021, I said that I wanted it to be a year of fine jewelry, and it definitely was that for me. I bought some beautiful pieces that I use all the time. So as a result, I don't have a ton of fine jewelry on my wish list, especially because I only buy everyday fine jewelry pieces. I don't invest in special occasion pieces. So in that vein, the first item that I want is a carryover from my 2021 wish list, which is a ring to wear on my left index finger. Now, I initially wanted the Justin Clou slim ring. However, when I tried it on, I was a little underwhelmed. So I tried on the larger version, and my essay told me that the larger version really didn't look very good because my fingers are so small. Specifically, she said, this ring looks terrible on your baby fingers. And I agree with her. I'm hoping that Cartier comes out with the slim Justin Clou ring with diamonds, just like they came out with the slim Justin Clou bracelet with diamonds. So essentially, I would want this ring in a combination that does not exist yet. My Cartier essay said that she had no intel that they were planning to produce this in the near future. So since that option doesn't really exist, I've found some other possibilities that I really like. So there are these two from Tiffany. They're so beautiful. There's the knot ring in yellow gold with diamonds. There's also this Elsa Peretti diamond hoop ring. So I haven't tried on either of the Tiffany rings, but they are definite possibilities. And the last possibility is the Hermes Kelly ring in yellow gold, but in the very small size, which is the thinnest version. Perhaps I'll do another shop with me video, just like I did for the bracelet that you guys helped me pick out, but I'm loving all of those options. The next ring that I'm thinking about is a ring for my right hand middle finger, and this I want to be much more of a statement ring. So unlike the ring on my left hand, I don't want this ring to be dainty at all. So some possibilities are the Bulgari tricolor B01 ring. There's also the David Yurman crossover ring. I was only really familiar with David Yurman silver jewelry with maybe some gold accents, and I didn't realize that David Yurman jewelry was so expensive. So I'm having a bit of a mental block thinking about paying more than $2,000 for a David Yurman ring, which I know is silly, but in my head I have price caps on the amount I'll spend spend on an item from a given brand. Let me know if any of you guys are the same. And then there's this Masika ring, which is the most expensive of all of these options. And lastly, the Cartier Vendome tricolor ring, which I've only recently discovered. There are so many other possibilities though, so if you know of or own a statement ring that looks particularly good on very small fingers, please let me know in the comments below. So again, not sure what I want, but I do know I want a gold statement ring. The next item is not necessarily from a luxury brand. I do want a very thin white gold and diamond tennis necklace. I found a really beautiful one during the Black Friday sales that went on major discount at Bloomingdale's from around $9,000 to about $2,900. So I'm thinking that if I go to the Diamond District here in New York City, I may be able to get a really beautiful one for under $2,000. And this is not something that I would ever buy from a luxury brand because the markup would be astronomical, and this is a very simple nondescript piece that has no unique luxury details, so it makes zero sense to pay the luxury markup. And my last jewelry item is a carryover from the last 3 years wish list, and that is the Van Cleef & Arpels white gold diamond perlée bracelet. I love this piece, and I say this every year. The only reason that I have not gotten this is because of the price. So just to put things into perspective, the price of the VCA Perlee bracelet was about the same as the combined price of what I paid for the Birkin 25, Kelly 25, VCA Alhambra guilloche bracelet, and my Cartier Clash. So essentially, I had to decide whether I would get more enjoyment from the one VCA Perlee bracelet or those two Hermes bags plus the Cartier and VCA bracelets. And for me, the answer was clear. I would get much more enjoyment from those 4 items than I would get from just the Perlee bracelet alone. Let me know if you would have made the same decision if it were you. This bracelet is one of those items that I think would be something that I would get years down the line. So I've essentially said, if I don't buy any bags or any other fine jewelry for 2 years, this is what I would buy instead. Another item that's on my lifetime wish list, but I have no interest in getting it this year, is the Godard Artois bag. So this would be a work bag for me. I am currently back in the office, but with the way things are in the world right now, that can change at a moment's notice. I have 4 work bags, and I essentially use each one for 3 months at a time, so I don't need another work bag right now. I will say my Longchamp Les Pliages is looking a little worse for wear. I do plan to take it back to the store and have them patch up the holes in all 4 corners, but I do think when that bag finally bites the dust, this Goyard bag will be the replacement for that. So the last items on my wish list are from Hermes. First up, I really want a Kelly belt. I hemmed and hawed about the color and hardware combination, but I think I want to start out with the etoupe with the gold hardware, which matches my Birkin 25. And if that works out, I'll consider other color hardware combinations. I'd also really like these Hermes Takara sandals. I asked my SA for them a couple of times last year, and she said they were all sold out countrywide. However, I'm hoping once production ramps up again this year, maybe they'll produce these sandals again. In any case, it's worth a try, so I've put them on my wish list. Okay, let's move on to Hermes bags. And I want to preface this by saying that I've had incredible luck with the brand. Hermes is by far the brand where I receive the best service, I feel the most welcome, I don't have to jump through any hoops, and that's why I continue to shop there. That being said, my store and my SA has been so accommodating to my past requests, and I've received so many of my dream bags that I vacillate between the idea of not putting any more Hermes bags on my wish list because I've gotten most of my dream bags on the one hand, but on the other hand, I'm still a lover of bags. And if given the opportunity, there are a few more that I would get. But I'll be perfectly honest with you, I'm really enjoying the bags that I have, so I'm not pressed, and I don't really care if I don't get any more Hermes offers this year. However, I'm very cognizant of the fact that I'm in a unique position with Hermes that could really change at a moment's notice with a different store manager, if my SA moved. On the one hand, I'm perfectly happy with my current collection, and on the other hand, I do feel like it's worth a try to strike while the iron is hot. So if it's possible for me to get these bags at this moment in time without doing any kind of pre-spending, why not, right? So my first bag is the bag that I've been talking about for the past year, and I have not been able to get it, and it is the Kelly 25 Sellier. I originally wanted it in etoupe with gold hardware, but again, if you watched my unboxing video of my Birkin 25, you'd know that that bag is in etoupe with gold hardware. So I've changed my wish list. I now want the Kelly 25 Sellier in black with palladium hardware. So that's really the only Hermes bag that I plan to request. I will mention two other bags that I'll ask my SA to keep me in mind for, but realistically, I have very little chance of getting. You may laugh at me because I just told you that it was impossible for me to get the Kelly 25 Sellier in all of last year, and the next two bags that I mentioned are complete unicorns, but that's why this is a wish list. These are very low priority bags for me. A, because they're super hard to get, and a lot of VIPs have these bags on their list, so it is highly unlikely that I'll be offered either of these two bags. But secondly, because I really don't plan to pursue these bags like the Kelly 25, because these would be very occasional bags. These will not be bags that I use all the time like my other Hermes bags, but I'm at a point with my Hermes collection where I have all the ones that I really want, so I can either choose to stop collecting Hermes bags altogether, or I can play around a bit with different colors, sizes, and leathers, because I don't need these bags to be jack of all trades. They don't need to be as durable or as versatile as my other Hermes bags. So you'll see what I mean. So I'd love a bag in the Rose Sakura colorway. When I last went to the Hermes boutique, I got to see someone wearing a bag in this color and in the color of the bag that I'll mention next. And I am not a pink person. In terms of colors, I like more jewel tones, so dark reds, deep greens, navy blue. But this Rose Sakura color is the only pastel color that I have ever seen that I really like. It is a very sophisticated pink in person. So ideally, I would love this color in a Kelly 25, but it's less about the bag itself and more about this particular color. I would accept a Birkin 25. I would even accept it in a mini Lindy. But again, this bag is very low priority for me. Okay, so if that wasn't enough of a long shot, my next bag will probably have you doubled over in laughter. And this is another color that I saw someone wearing at the boutique. And I'd love a mini Kelly in the color nata. So basically a white or off-white color. I love the color nata, but it doesn't have to be that color. Anything in that family, Vuitton, Cray, any of those milky white colors will suffice. Mini Kellys are just hard to get. So I'm not gonna lie, if I got offered a mini Kelly in a different colorway, I won't say no, but ideally I want a small white or off-white Hermes bag. For a long time, I was really afraid of white bags, but this summer, so many times I put on an outfit and thought this would look so much better with a white bag. I thought about a white Chanel bag, but if you've watched my videos in the past, you know how I feel about Chanel lately. And I realized that Hermes is probably one of the best brands to buy a white bag because you can always send it back to them for color touch-ups. It doesn't matter if it's a year from now or 50 years from now, they stand behind their bags. And in a white bag, I would really like it to be very small because then there's just less surface area to get color transfer. But in general, I do think the mini Kelly is a super cute bag, and I think it would be a great addition to a collection that's further along. I could never have a mini Kelly as my only Kelly, but again, I'm far enough along in my Hermes collection where I feel like I can add really fun pieces like this because it would have a limited and specific purpose. So that's it for my wish list for this year. Let me know what you think of the items on my wish list. I think I had more items that I normally have, probably because I put less expensive items on this list, which I'd never bothered to put on previous wish lists. Also, I already got one item off this wish list. Take a guess which item I got in the comments below. Let me know what's on your wish list for this year, or if you're like me and you have more of a lifetime wish list. I want to wish everyone a very happy new year. I wish you health and many blessings. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel. That would make my day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.